Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Let's wait a few minutes. I actually started probably a little bit earlier than what I normally do, and it is Monday morning. So, had a few people pop up. Morning, Addison. Morning, Amy. Can you do a quick sound check? Can you guys let me know? Can you hear me okay? I feel a little stuffy. I didn't think to even look at the volume thing before I hit start. Awesome. Thank you, Addison. Cool. Okay. Oh, good morning, Michael. Hey, so it is Monday. It is Monday, and we are back at Conscious Coffee. So, I don't know how conscious I am this morning. I went to bed early. I was up late reading. It took Sunday to read and to kind of fill my spirit. And this morning I got up and I was thinking about a whole bunch of different things, and there was like 15 different thoughts in my mind before I got out of bed, and by the time I made it down to the coffee pot, I realized that my coffee pot decided to make a pot. Not really even a half pot, more like 2/3 of a half a pot. And I was like, oh, and then all my thoughts just went away. They all went away. Like, oh crap. Now what am I going to do? So I sat here for 5 minutes trying to figure out life. And just asking God, calling in some sort of message. And that was when all of a sudden copies and originals popped into my mind. So I had to go and do a little bit of research real quick. I was like, okay, I got to have a quote someplace. And I don't really have a quote today. Well, I do, and I don't. All at the same time. We'll see if I use it in just a second as I wake up. So bear with me. Bear with me. I'm not awake. I'm going to drink coffee. But I am so happy that it is Monday, because how you guys felt that our last couple days, I was like every single morning, even though I managed to get up at like 7 o'clock and at 5:45 on Saturday and on Sunday, I had this desire to come over here and go live and do Conscious Coffee. And oh, no, I'm taking a couple days off. So anyway, I missed you guys, is what I'm saying. I missed you. I missed Conscious Coffee. So copies originals. I think this is actually a really great way, coming off of last week and looking at the week ahead. Just kind of, came in, and I was thinking about last night. I was reading, and a lot of the stuff that I was reading was on desire, on belief. Morning, Patrick. Morning, Tanya. Michael. As I was reading through things, my whole focus for 2018 has really moved into true desire-based coaching and sharing and connecting with people, and really just living that life, that freedom-based life, that it means that we are living on purpose and as who we are in every single moment. So showing up in the moment as our original selves, not as some copy of something else. If you look out in the world, and here's the quote. Okay, here's the quote: people are born originals, but most die copies. People are born originals, but most die copies. And that is from Jason Mason. No, John Mason. Hold on. John Mason. And I'm trying to rhyme. Not a good thing to do at 6 a.m. Yeah, so no rhyming. John Mason. People are born originals, but most die copies. I was thinking about this, it kind of came up a few times over the weekend and towards last week. And then I'm also rebuilding my website, and I'm rebuilding my brand, and I know that it's not just a first of the year thing. I started this towards the end of last year, and I have this goal of So I've been looking at, I really want everything to be about being in my truth, 100% of how I am today. And I state that because I think that that's a really good point to focus in on, as far as when we are living our life, when we are exploring different options, opportunities, even personalities, because I think that we all have a whole bunch of different personalities that we are scared to allow out. We believe that we have to act a certain way, that we have to stay true to just what has been normal through the years. And when we rebirth ourselves, when we transform, that means sometimes that, who we are at our core should always be who we are at our core, but are you really letting who you are at your core out? Or are you actually just putting on some sort of role? And granted, I remember, a week and a half ago, I sat here and I had like 5 or 6 different masks on. And I think that was December 31st, the morning of, and I was talking about the masks that we wear. So this is kind of on that line, but at the same time not, because this is really focused in on speaking, really truly speaking your truth, not just the personas that we carry, the roles that we have, but really tapping in and looking at what your beliefs are as a person, and trying to figure out what is yours and what have you actually bought into that's not yours. So I always look at when something comes up and causes fear in my system, which happens frequently, I pause and I don't act on the fear. I rarely hit the pause button. So think about, anybody who's seen the commercial with, what is that, the Staples commercial with the big red button. And, pretend that you have one of those Staples buttons and you just hit the big red button. And that's your pause button. And when you hit that pause button around fear, what it allows you to do is it allows you to go into the witness state, and you can kind of go and review and look at what's coming up inside of you and why it potentially is coming up. So looking at oh my goodness, somebody's like sending everything across. But if you look at, there's people on that I can't even see. It's interesting. I don't know what's going on my Facebook. It's like I see people clicking like, and I see that there's more viewers on than what I see over here. I don't know. It's all good. I'm not going to try to figure it out. Definitely not a way to figure out technical stuff. As long as you guys can hear me, that's all that's good. Okay, so when you hit that pause button, it allows you to go into the witness state, and when you get into the witness state, then you examine and look at, is that true? Is that mine? Is that really my reality? Or here's the thing, is it your reality from last year? Is it your reality from last week? Is it your reality from 20 years ago? Have you moved forward? How have you matured? And what are the patterns, the things that you're doing that are still holding on to the past, an old version of you? Or even worse, are these things actually copies of somebody else's crap? Is it somebody else's beliefs, structures, attitudes towards things, fears that have put in you that you are in that moment attaching to and owning as your own? So when you really start to look at those things, that's where you can start to make breakthroughs and figure out your truth in the moment. And it is really, every single thing is about finding your truth in the moment and showing up as who you are right now, and not worrying about the past. Really, truly, how far are you going to get? I mean, imagine like driving a car if you were only looking in your rearview mirror. How are you going to ever get to your destination if you're driving looking in the rearview mirror? So if you're looking at old beliefs, old ways of being, or even other people's fears and beliefs, structures, and you're trying to have them, how far are you really going to get in designing that fuck yes life, that, the desired life for yourself. And the reason I really I'm bringing this up, and I think Monday morning is great for this, is because it's the start of a week, right? I mean, it's what we call the start of a week because most people will go to work on Mondays. So as you're venturing out into your day and you're getting ready to go and deal with your boss and your fellow colleagues and friends and family and school and this and that and all these different things that come into play on Mondays, traffic. Hopefully you find a place in the day to just kind of examine why you are doing some of the things that you're doing. Where's the reactions coming from? Because every single thing that we do, there is a reaction that comes from, right? That's what births from our thoughts, is action or reaction. Not to go all Stephen Covey on everybody, but it really is about, being proactive or reactive. And when we're reactive, typically, we are acting from a place of an old self or a place of somebody else's belief structures, attitudes, societal thinking. We're not being proactive. To be proactive means that we have hit the pause button and that we are looking internally for our truth, and we are acting from there. So really look at, which one are you as you go out there into the world, and the importance. Good morning, Mary. And the importance of really just kind of stepping into self and getting right with who you are in this moment. Now that doesn't mean that if you're having a crappy day, then you don't want to make a whole bunch of decisions just because you might have a headache or you woke up just in a foul mood or something. But what I'm talking about, from acting from being an original, not a copy of somebody else's stuff, is tapping into that core. And we all do know what our core is, and I know that a lot of people go, yeah, but what if I'm trying to find myself? And you're going to hear me say this over and over again. If you're looking for yourself, then look no further. I'm going to pull a door. Look no further than compact charge, right? It is, and go look in the mirror. Good morning, Trey. Go look in the mirror, and there you are. And I know that sounds really, really simple. Yeah, but that doesn't, how do I find myself? How do I know if that's really truly me, if it's really truly aligned to me? How does it make you feel? Whatever you are choosing to do in your day, whatever attitude you're even choosing to show up in, whatever you're saying that you want to move forward with, the people you want to be around, the decisions you make, everything. It doesn't matter how small or big a choice or a decision might be in your day, in this moment. All that truly matters is how do you feel about it. And here's the thing, if it turns you on, if it excites you, if it makes you feel peaceful, if it makes you feel connected, if it makes you feel joyous, all of that kind of stuff. My dog's having a dream and barking in his first sleep. Uh-oh, hold on, guys. I don't know what the heck happened there. I pushed something. Sorry. All right, sorry. Accidentally put my arm on the computer. But if you're not having the feeling of connection and joy and peace, and it really just feels in alignment to you, then it's not yours for the moment. Just let it go. If it's causing some sort of in your gut, in your heart, in your chest, just not making. If you notice that when you are getting ready to do something, or you're going around certain people, even if it is to an event. I mean, I tell people, oh yeah, I'm coming, I'm going, and then all of a sudden I just feel, ugh. I just go, what is that? And I tap in and I go, is it just because I'm being lazy and I don't want to go? Or if that's like, no, actually I have tons of energy and I would love to go be around people and I'd love to go do this and I'd love to go do that. Or if I start to just think about like, what's going on at this event? Am I really in alignment to that? Is it something that turns me on, that makes me feel, good? And if I come back with a no, it doesn't make me feel good, then chances are you're going to find that me just not showing up to that event, because why would I go to something that I don't really want to be part of, that's really not in alignment to who I am? Now, granted, I can feel like some people probably out there saying, okay, that's great, Kendall, but I feel like every single Monday morning, I feel that way right now as I'm getting ready listening to you. And I work and I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that. Do it because of fill in the blank. Morning, Sandra. Um, what do you do in those instances? There are things that, yes, we have certain situations that we've gotten ourselves into that we have to, for the time being, remain in that. But those, what you have to do is, go back and, like, it was Friday, right? I think that my conscious coffee was focused on the power in the words and, in the words that we are putting out. Well, if you are sitting there this morning and you're getting ready or you're driving or whatever you're doing right now in this moment listening, and you're like, ugh, about today, about this moment, about things that are coming, you're like, well, I'm always telling everybody that if it makes you feel like crap, then that means that you're not in alignment to it, that you're not following what your soul's purpose is, right? Just very, very true. Very, very, very true. Here's the thing though, if you're in a situation like a job or a relationship that is going to take time to unweave what has been woven, and that's how you have to look at it. You are unweaving it. You are unknotting the chain that got knotted, that is causing the restriction. And this can show up in so many different ways. Like health issues would be actually a great way of one thing to look at, because you can't just get over something, right? Like that. You just can't. You cannot just move through a health challenge within a half a second just because you made your mind up to do it. And at the same time, if you don't just make your mind up to do it and realize that in that moment, and here's the thing, in that moment, wow, somebody's shooting all the places we got there, and flowers and everything. I like the flowers. In the moment, you may have to move through things, but realize that that moment is the moment of true decision. And when you really, really make a conscious, clear, direct, hell yes, fuck yes decision that this is where you're going and this is what you need to do. So let's say you have some illness that you're carrying the load of, and you're like, no, I'm going to be healed from this. Or you're in a job that is just really not the job for you. You're like, no, I'm going to find my fuck yes job. Find that job that is definitely mine. I'm going to finally step out and do what I have always wanted to do. I'm going to be who I've always wanted to be. Or let's say you're single and you really want to find love, and you have to make up your mind. In this moment, I am going to call into my life whatever it is that you're wanting. That is the moment that everything in the universe spins off. And it is up to us in that moment to just stick to that feeling of what does it feel like to call in exactly what you want. And here's the thing, if it's not feeling good, then you're not really calling it in, focusing in on what you don't have still. If it's feeling good, or you've made it too unbelievable. So if something is unbelievable, it's not going to feel good to us. That's where you can just know you need to tame your dream down just a little bit, notch it back a little bit. And I'm not telling you to dream small here. I'm telling you to notch it back, because then you'll succeed at small successes, and you grow from there and you build. Small success, you grow and build. So you want to dream as big as you possibly can, but feel into it. And if it's not, if it makes you feel a little off, notch it back a little bit to a place that is exciting and turned on, feel attached to that, and move into that, step into that, and realize that the moment that you align to that and that you actually claim it, you have to claim it. You have to claim it. And this is where the difference between people are born originals but most die copies is, because the majority of people do not claim their life. And you have to claim your life. You have to claim exactly what you want, exactly where you're going, who you are, the money that you make, the health that you have, the relationships that you have. It is up to you to claim what you get. And you do that through lots of different things, which I'm not going to get into in the next 10-15 minutes here, but I can tell you that stepping in, claiming it, and moving forward is how you actually stand up and be the original that you are. Be the unique you that you were created to be, and stop acting like a copy. Stop pretending that you need to be something that is not true. And here's another little note on. Let me take a sip of coffee first. Average people compare themselves to others. That would be my next little bleep to this. Average people compare themselves to others. Comparison is the death of us. It is absolutely the death of us. And what it is because we are always looking. Comparison is about approval. Comparison is about living in jealousy, about just constantly not embracing ourselves and who we are. And comparison takes us out of being an empowered state and into a state of I'm not good enough, I'm too much. Whichever one, often most at the same time, we go through these feelings of I'm not good enough, I'm too much. So if you look at that right there, look at quite rarely, like if you're driving this morning and you have to, go out on the road, which I know a lot of people do. How often are you driving down the road and this, snazzy little sports car will go past you, and you look at the sports car and you're like, oh man, I wish I had that. It must be nice to drive that. Or, yeah, that's a great car, but I'm glad that I don't have his insurance bill. Whatever those little thoughts are, those comments that come up, they're comparison comments, because we're comparing ourselves to whatever that might be. You go out to a restaurant and you watch the people eating around you. You examine the relationships, how people are connecting and or not connecting. You might examine the way they're dressed, how physically fit they are or not physically fit they are, and just notice all of the judgment thoughts. And that's what comparison is. Comparison is all about judgment. It is about how we really step into silence. Hearing my little one upstairs crying for me, but he's being gotten. We step into that. We all do it. That's what I'm going to say. We all do it. We all judge. And here's the thing: when we're judging others, we're also judging self. And it's that comparison, that judgment that we do. It keeps us in a state of always looking to be normal, and that's I don't know why us humans have this desire to be normal, but we do. And one of the biggest questions that I get asked as a coach with people is they come in or during their consult or even just email exchanges. People are always asking me, is that normal? Am I normal? Am I normal? So there's this desire to be normal and what we perceive as normal. And that is where we come into trying to copy and not being our original, because we're afraid that by standing up and being the original that we are, by being our true self, by being the us that God made us to be, we're not going to be normal, that there's something different, something wrong about us. And there's what we're afraid of. We're afraid that there's something wrong about us instead of just realizing that we're all perfect exactly as we are. We all are originals, and it is when we stand in being an original that we really find our power, that we can move forward and have the life that we want, and that is how we claim our life, our desires, by just not comparing. It's so easy, and yet it's not, because comparison is this thought that just pops up. I'm not saying that you can't compare and that you need to stop judging, because here's the thing. We're human, we're going to judge, we're going to compare. This is about becoming consciously aware of the judgments, of the comparisons, of those things that really truly do hold us back from being our original self. So look at where are you doing those things? Are they so quiet? Are you guys all asleep over there or something, wherever you're at? And now and then I see little things floating across the bottom of the screen, but everybody's just like, drink coffee, people. Come on, drink. Everybody's so quiet. Good morning, Cindy. Hey, we got a couple. I was looking. I did have. Let everyone be sure that he is doing his very best, for then he will have the personal satisfaction of work well done and won't need to compare himself with someone else. Let everyone be sure that he is doing his very best, for then he will have the personal satisfaction of work well done and won't need to compare himself with someone else. So that quote right there, and I said it twice because there's a lot in that quote, even though it is a very simple statement. And that is Galatians chapter 6, verse 4, if you're interested. So even in normal is to life as drowning is to breath. Yes. And morning, Jeff. Thank you, Michael. It really is. It is a suffocation of the self, and I think that's the message right there. It's when we are looking to be normal, we are basically putting ourselves in a copy machine, and we're printing off copies, and we're saying, I want to be normal, and I want to be normal there. And we also, it's a justification as well. To be normal means that we are also justifying our perceived imperfections. We are, see my school too. Everybody's going back to school there. So we are constantly trying to justify different things that are going on in our life. Like, oh, well, I'm a mom, so I'm out of shape, and that's okay because being a mom, and I'm picking on moms because I'm a mom. So, it's one of those things of we look at like, oh, well, the majority of people are this, therefore, if I am that, it is okay because it's normal. The majority of relationships don't have sex after a certain time frame. So my marriage is normal. The majority of women who have 2.3 kids are, are living frumpy and do this and do that. So it's normal. Oh, I'm now 40 years old and this health issue popped up. That's normal. Everybody hates their job. Who wants to go to their job? It's just to pay the bills. That's normal. You see the justification here? And I'm picking on those things. And yes, I'm sorry if I totally whack somebody on the head. Not really. I don't say I'm sorry. I intended on hitting somebody. Yeah. But it is, if you are living in justification, you are basically creating a carbon copy of other people. And if you claim that you want your desired life and you want to live on purpose and you want to be happy and you want to be joyous and you want to be living according to what your soul's purpose calling is, which does not necessarily mean that you are, calling. That could be a whole other thing. Like what does that mean? But if you really truly want to listen to your spirit, to your heart, and be living in alignment to that and showing up the way God intended you to show up, which is as your very best version of you, which is the you in the moment. How are you showing up to life right now? Then that justification and comparison, judgment, all those things is not going to serve you. It's not going to serve you. It is going to hinder you. So every time you look in and you say, is that too much? Am I enough? Is that normal? How do you really feel about that? We're looking for the opinions of others to give us permission to just be normal instead of leaning in and saying, hey, this is how I feel, this is what I want, this is who I am, and just showing up. Show the fuck up. Show the fuck up in your life and in your day, and stand strong in who you are. Proud mentality instead of leadership mentality can feel like the easy way, and ultimately leads us to places we didn't realize we were going, and usually not where we wanted to be. Exactly. I mean, I could easily say, are you a sheep or are you a lion? And I prefer lions to sheep. I think that heck of a lot better path. I did a few weeks ago. I was talking about eagles and blackbirds, and this is kind of the same thing. Are you an eagle or a blackbird? If you're a blackbird, then people are shooting at you, and you're sitting on the power lines, and you're crapping on everybody's car, and you're jibber jabbering, and everybody looks at you as a pest. Or you're an eagle that flies above the storms and has great sight and can overcome so many different things. So this does come back to those principles, because it's so important. If you want to have and truly, the purpose behind Conscious Happy is to give you 30, 40 minutes a day to kind of give a coaching lesson to anybody who's interested in moving forward and having that desired life that they want. Have that freedom-based life, have that focused life, have the life that they really truly want. And when I'm working with my VIP clients, I'm constantly on their butts about showing up as themselves, about taking the leadership role in their life, in their relationship, in their health, in their career choices, in every single way. It's about showing up as the very best. So, the value of an original Rembrandt versus the value of a print or a copy. The copy is pretty, looks like the original and has value. The original is beautiful and is priceless. Exactly. So, there's things that you're going to feel like you're really in alignment to. that that you have similarities, because we do have similarities to other people, and that's how we find our ideal tribe, our soulmates, you could say, is that there's connections out there, and there's things that it just feels comfortable to be around certain people. It feels good, and more so than comfortable, it feels good, because our friends and the people that we hang around with and the people that we're around the most should not always be making us feel comfortable. We should feel love, we should feel support, but we should also feel a push to be the best us that we can be. It should not always be easy and just make us feel like, oh, this is just so cozy. I mean, just like a good, healthy, romantic, intimate relationship should have its cozy moments, but it should also push us to want to be a better. It should make us want to stand up and be the best us that we possibly can. And the same thing goes with friendships, and the same thing goes with the work that we choose, and every our spiritual life. The people that we call in should always be moving us forward, and we should be moving them forward. So it really is a nice way to that's that supportive tribe mentality, is that we're all pushing each other up. Pushing each other up is key focus. And that I think that's Art Williams, Pushing Up People. Yeah, it's Art Williams, the book Pushing Up People. And it is really about, that book written back in the early 80s or maybe mid 80s. Is focused on quite literally that, just like, you want to always be pushing people up, and you get to be and have the best life that you can have by supporting others. Well, that's a whole nother topic there, but we only push others up by being our best and by getting around the people that are going to help us be our best, which means it's going to be a little uncomfortable at times. But being an original can be uncomfortable, because there are going to be moments that we're going to stand out in the crowd. But at the same time, we will draw in that have certain similarities that really support each other, because even eagles out there are going to want to see other eagles flying in the sky. You may not want to. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. But when you're driving down the road, I love it when I see like a hawk flying on one side, and then I glance over and there's just other hawks swooping down over there, and it's just so beautiful and so magical. And it's like they're together, but they're not. They still have their zone, their space, but they're still flying out there together, but not, and they're their own different waves of air and energy that they're traveling on. But they still see each other. They're being respectful to each other. And there's that similar ground. And it's the same thing for us as human beings. It's, if we're originals, then if we want to be an original, which we all are, but if we want to show up as the original that we are, then we're going to pull in other people that are standing strong in who they are as well. And that's going to give us more strength to stand strong in who we are, because we do need permission. Every single one of us needs permission, and we forget to give it to ourselves. Quite frankly, we forget to give it to ourselves. But truly, the only permission we need is from self. But it helps when we see others stepping out and being themselves, and we can point our finger at them and go, "Wow, he did it, she did it, they did it, and look, they're so happy, they're so this, they're so that." And then you find yourself going, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. So stop wishing and start doing. Stop wishing and start doing. Claim your life and make this a fucking phenomenal week. Go be the best you that you can be in this moment today. Become a witness to your judgments, to your comparisons. Become a witness to your desires. To become a witness to things that make you feel good and the things that don't make you feel good, and really claim your life And oh, by the way, I keep saying claim your life. And the reason I've noticed that that is the statement that has really come up for me over the last probably 2 weeks, me figuring out my own shit and my direction, like really like claiming, thank you guys, and really claiming, morning Jason, I'm really claiming the year that I want to have and what my freedom-based zero looks like. So you're going to see on a lot of my taglines and emails, if you're on my email list and everything, and articles, claim your life, because that is actually, I was thinking about it, because Addison's like, we need to get shirts, and I'm like, okay. And I was thinking about, like, I woke up the other morning, Saturday morning, actually, I woke up thinking about t-shirts and tank tops and sweatshirts, and I was like, claim your life. I want a t-shirt that says claim your life on it, so I'm going to just go and create a line of claim your life, because that's my new 2018 motto, is claim your life. There you have it. Go claim your day. Go claim your week. Go claim your life. And I will catch you tomorrow morning around 6 a.m.-ish with whatever God has piped into my heart to share with you. And I love you guys. As always, if you find it in your heart and your soul to share, please share this. Tag a friend. Thank you, those of you who made comments. Thank you, those of you who popped in. We had a nice full of people this morning coming in and out. So thank you very much. I hope that anybody who's still on there, pop in tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. On here, and just everybody take a moment real quick to go ahead and share this conscious copy. Okay, so have a fantastic week. I love you guys. See you tomorrow.